Another day, another Lonzo Ball video. What's up, guys? I'm Ross. This is Arturus Fan Club. And this video is kind of sponsored by Lou Malnati's. Shout out to them. I made a joke on Twitter last night about this video that it was sponsored by Lou Malnati's, not actually just manifesting my dreams. And they actually reached out and hooked me up. And shout out to them. Very, very cool guys over there. Do a lot of great work. And obviously their pizza is amazing. So if you have not followed them on Twitter, they are a great follow. And obviously if you have not eaten Lou Malnati's, please do that. What are you doing with your life? Get out there, eat some deep dish pizza. But anyway, more importantly, we are here today to talk about Lonzo Ball once again, as if we have not talked about him enough. We have a bit of an update, and this is, free agency is next week. Rumors are swirling. The draft is tomorrow. But the latest report is that the Pelicans will not match any offer for Lonzo Ball. Take what you will from that, because there have been reports about other restricted free agents in years past that did not come to fruition just because the rumor said so. There is still a perfectly valid reason for the Pelicans to retain Lonzo Ball. There are many reasons for the Pelicans to retain Lonzo Ball, but currently the chatter is that they are more interested in Kyle Lowry, Spencer Dinwiddie, free agent point guards than they are more interested in them than they are in retaining Lonzo Ball. So that is the current scuttlebutt. That is what I'm going off of right now. And we were talking last night on Twitter about ways the Bulls could acquire Lonzo Ball, because actually the conversation started with the false report. In my opinion, the false report. Once again, these are all rumors. I am sometimes selective in which rumors I believe, but more contextual. I think Lonzo Ball makes more sense for the Bulls than Dennis Schroeder does. So when I see a Dennis Schroeder to the Bulls rumor, I question it more than I would question a Lonzo Ball rumor. So the Dennis Schroeder rumor from last night was that the Bulls want to give him a 5-year, $150 million contract. Number one, it's not possible. The Bulls can't give another team's free agent a 5-year deal. And number two, $150 million is way too much money for Dennis Schroeder just in general. And number three, our cap situation is very limited when it comes to how much money we can give a free agent. So that brought up the discussion of, okay, wait, if we can't give Dennis Schroeder that much money, how much money can we give Lonzo Ball? And is he actually going to want to sign with the Bulls if they're not able to give him this crazy huge contract? So there are ways. We have ways. We have magic we can work upon the cap to get it done. And that's why we're going to hop back over to the desktop cam, and I'm going to show you how the Bulls can acquire Lonzo Ball. There are a few different ways, and each of them has pros, each of them has cons, but we are going to focus on Lonzo Ball because he is still plan A, and it sounds like, if we're trusting the latest rumor, he will actually be available. So let's hop over to the desktop cam, back on Spot Trick, back on Spot Trick, where last time we did this, it was not as it was kind of a shit show. I'm gonna be real. It didn't work out the way I necessarily wanted it to, but I've played around with it a little bit more. I understand how this tool works a little more now, so I'm gonna show you guys how we can get out of this cap hell. Negative $66 million. We are in cap hell. I'm gonna take you guys to cap heaven. Now, like I said, we're going to run through a few different scenarios, so don't get too caught up in the moves that I do, because there are so many different... I can't cover every scenario. I'm going to try to cover the main, the main concepts of like renouncing free agents versus a sign and trade. Those are kind of the main concepts. You can dig deeper and like move guys around, like Lauri Markkanen, Daniel Theis. Like there are so many options. I can't get into every single one, and who knows what AK and Mark Eversley will end up doing. But with all that said, let's get into it. So the first option I want to show you guys is just the nuclear option. This is, we are going to nuke the roster to sign Lonzo Ball outright to a fat offer sheet. So in order to do that, we are going to renounce the rights to Lauri Markkanen, and obviously all of our unrestricted free agents. We're not re-signing Cristiano Felicio. Daniel Theis, unfortunately, we're going to let Daniel Theis go because we need cap space. And obviously, the GOAT, Denzel Valentine. I can't even say it with a straight face. I think Cristiano Felicio is more of a GOAT than Denzel Valentine. Garrett Temple, fun first year. We're going to have to say goodbye. Javonte Green, I like what you got, but you're going to have to give it to another team. Devon Dotson, same story. Wish we had more cap space to keep you. Goodbye, Adam Makoka. It was real. Okay, so we're up to 10 million now, just by renouncing all of the free agents that we have this offseason. Okay, we're not getting rid of anyone who's under contract for next season yet. We're about to. This is where, and you can do either with these contracts. With Thaddeus Young, you can release him or you can trade him. Same thing with Tomas Satoransky. It will cost the same amount of money against the cap. What I recently learned is that the amount of money that a player is guaranteed is the only amount you can deduct from the cap when they get traded to another team. So, for example, if we traded Tomas Satoransky to the Clippers, for example, we would only save $5 million because $5 million is the guaranteed portion of his contract. So we would not get $10 million added to this number. We would only get $5 million. Let's do it. I'll show you. So we're going to release him with that $5 million dead cap. And when it loads, there we go, up to 14. Same thing with Thaddeus Young. His contract is partially guaranteed. Really don't want to have to do this, but once again, this is the nuclear option. We are going to say goodbye to Thaddeus Young and watch that number jump up by about what was it? Okay, we're up to 21 million. So that was pretty good. We're close. We're very close. Lonzo Ball is probably going to get something in the realm of $20 to $25 million per year. We are in that range. Now it's time to make a decision on Al-Farouq Aminu. Now, his contract is a little different because it is fully guaranteed, but we are able to stretch that money out over the course of a few seasons. I got to make sure I know how to do this properly. Okay, here we go. This is how we're going to stretch it this way. And so we'll reduce the cap by, I don't know how many years we're going to stretch that out over. Let's do it by 3 million. So, okay. So we're going to stretch it out by about 3 million per year as a buyout. And that is going to get us up to, hey, look at that, $28 million. Okay. We have a ton of free roster space here. Oh, we got to get rid of, Ryan Arcidiacono as well. And look at that. We are up to $30 million in cap. Do not let anyone tell you that the Bulls are cap strapped this offseason. There are ways, my friends. There are ways. Don't let people lie to you. Now, once again, this is the nuclear option. So we've got 5 players on the roster. Now, in a scenario like this, I do wonder if we can release someone like Thad Young and try to renegotiate a new contract that maybe is stretched out over the course of a few years and has less of a hit this offseason. He's the kind of veteran that I feel like would understand. He wants to play in Chicago, wants to be with Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams. He's working out with Patrick Williams right now in the offseason, actually. So that's the kind of situation I feel like you could almost get away with releasing him and bringing him back. Kind of get your cake and eat it too. But with all that said, let's go out and try to sign Lonzo Ball. Is he on here? He's restricted. So, okay, here we go. So we're not going to give him a $28 million deal. Those are the only 2 options we have. Okay, well, $28 million is a lot of money for Lonzo Ball. I'm not totally sure that this is it's not letting me. Okay, here we go. Let's give him a $23 million deal. How's that sound? $23 million per year for Lonzo Ball over the course of, I think, 4 years. Yeah, that's the most we can give him. Pelicans don't match. They're not expected to. Lonzo Ball is a Bull, and we've still got $8 million to spare. Could spend that on Thad Young. I don't know. There's other options there. But don't forget, we've also got the mid-level exception here, which gives us about $5 million to play with. That doesn't count against this number. The mid-level exception allows teams to go over the cap, but without a cap hit for a certain amount of money. If you're paying the luxury tax, it is less money. So the Bulls have less money than a team like the Knicks might have currently. But that's okay. That's still an option for us to go over the cap and sign more players. On top of that, you can look at a guy like where is he? Daniel Tice, who we had his bird rights. So not only can you go over the cap for the mid-level exception, you can go over the cap for a player whose bird rights you have. So if we wanted to re-sign Daniel Tice, we could go over this $8 million mark and do that. But before we do that, we can still sign free agents from the big free agency pool, right? So we can get this number down to 0 in reality by signing other teams' free agents, and then we can bring back our own guys and go over the cap. You see where my mind's at? This is how we can maneuver around some of these weird cap restrictions and get Lonzo Ball and still upgrade our roster this offseason. So, let's see what else we can do. Who else is out there on the free agent market? We're going to look at wings now. So we want to look at a guy like Torrey Craig. Let's see how much money he wants. We can give him, how much money was he making? He's older. Let's do $6 million. And once again, this could also be, if he were down for it, this could be our mid-level exception right here. If he were willing to take like a $5 million deal. That's how we got Garrett Temple, you know? And maybe we re-sign Garrett Temple. Same thing. So now we're down to $3 million. Maybe now we go look at Daniel Tice. Let's see. Is it still going to let us have his bird rights? Yes, there it is with bird rights. So off of bird rights, he's probably going to want like $12 million. You know what, Daniel Tice? You got it. You got $12 million. Welcome back to Chicago. All right, and look, we're over the cap, but we were able to bring back Daniel Tice. We were able to sign Torrey Craig and Lonzo Ball, and we can go back in and try to take a look at Thaddeus Young with that mid-level exception. Let's do that. And I think... Oh, is he not? He's not going to show up here. Well, you guys know what I was trying to do. If we signed Thaddeus Young, we'd get our roster up to 9 players, and then you'd start looking at veteran minimum contracts, which are those tiny, tiny contracts that veterans take when they want to win a ring with the team. But with a team like this, you might be able to convince someone to do that. And we haven't even gotten into the draft yet. We're going to have the 30th overall pick. One of these roster spots is going to be taken up by him. Marko Simonovic is not on this list. Marko Simonovic is going to take up one of these roster spots. And there's still a very good chance that a guy like Devon Dotson comes back on that really cheap contract, or Javonte Green comes back. We have the rights to bring those guys back. Like I said at the jump, this is just the nuclear option, where you nuke the team and try to get Lonzo Ball and start from scratch, kind of with your core intact, but then you build pieces around them. Now, let's reset it and wait. Because the other option, if we want to get out of this cap hell, similar things, we're going to still decline the club option on Ryan D. Arcidiacono. Obviously, we're going to decline Cristiano Felicio. We're going to decline Denzel Valentine. We're going to decline Garrett Temple. And I think we're going to try to keep the rest of these guys. Javonte Green. We'll let Adam Makoka go. And so now we start looking at a potential sign and trade with Lauri Markkanen for Lonzo Ball. We're still far under the cap, but that's because if you look, the cap is -20. Lauri Markkanen's cap hold is 20. That's where that money's going. So if we're able to get the sign and trade for Lonzo Ball, we sign him for $23 million like we did last time. This number is only going to be -3 million, right? That's how that works. Well, actually, I guess I'm wrong about that. It'll go further down, but with the other pieces that with the other trade pieces we're gonna move, including Thomas Satoransky and Al-Farouq Aminu, that number is gonna go down to about -3 million. So let's sign a player via sign and trade. Oh, and I think this is the issue we had last time, is that you can't sign and trade 2 players for each other in this tool, which you can in real life, I'm pretty sure, but I don't think you can using this. So we'll do Lonzo. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Lonzo Ball. Yeah, it doesn't let us include Lauri Markkanen in this trade. So we'll have to use our imagination here, but we're swapping about $20 million for $23 million. I don't know what the Pelicans would end up paying Lauri Markkanen, but that doesn't really matter because it's just the cap hit against our cap, which, like I said, is $20 million. So let's give him the $23 million deal. It's not going to let us save it, but just for the purposes of including Al-Farouq Aminu and Once again, this isn't the actual trade that I expect would happen. I believe it would be more of like a Lauri Markkanen and future picks kind of deal. But I'm thinking Al-Farouq Aminu and Tomas Satoransky might get packaged to maybe the Clippers or another team in a different trade. Or, you know, we still, and then this is where the nuances come in. Maybe we still make this trade, or, you know, we make the trade with Tomas Satoransky and then we buy out Al-Farouq Aminu, things like that. Or like, you know, maybe we do trade Thaddeus Young. Like there are ways to kind of mix both scenarios. There are just so many different avenues. I just wanted to show you guys, like, it's very possible for us to get Lonzo Ball and still be able to make other upgrades to the roster. Like, look at this. We've now, all right, so we're going to renounce the rights to Lauri Markkanen and just kind of pretend he was a part of that deal. So now we're able to bring back Daniel Tice. Look, we're -4, so I was close. -$4 million. We're able to bring back Daniel Tice and Thaddeus Young. And we're not trading Kobe White. We're not trading, like I said, Thaddeus Young. And Daniel Tice is going to come back. We're going to give him that $12 million deal that we talked about. We still have our mid-level exception to go out and get a player like Torrey Craig. And once again, we still have Marko Simonovic coming over. We still have the 38th overall pick, whoever that ends up being. We're keeping Javonte Green and Devon Dotson. And our cap situation is better than it was before. We started with -$66 million. We are down to -$10 million and money to spend. We did it. Hard cap space still got $30 million right there, right? If you want to make another sign and trade, you can do it. If there's another player out there that you want, you can make a sign and trade to get them. I'm not sure who else, what other restricted free agents the Bulls might be interested in, but there's money to play with here. Okay? Right? Like if you want to trade Thad Young and maybe see if you can get an upgrade in the front court, maybe you can make a sign and trade for a guy like, I don't know. Well, I don't want to say names because people get mad at me because they don't like who I want to acquire. But Cam Reddish is a name that's out there right now. The Hawks are maybe looking to trade. There's a bunch of people. There's a bunch of guys. We'll get into that once we get closer to free agency next week. But I wanted to just sit you guys down and give you a full explanation of how the Bulls actually can acquire Lonzo Ball and make cap maneuvers. And if it isn't Lonzo Ball, look, there is still plenty of cap space to play with here. I don't know if Kyle Lowry wants to come to Chicago, but we were able to open up enough money to get him. It's possible, right? That's all I want to show you guys, is that it is possible. So thank you guys for hanging out with me this long. I know it kind of got a little bit long-winded, but the cap is such an intricate, complex beast that sometimes you do have to sit down and really break it down like this, piece by piece by piece. And I think once we get closer to free agency next week, I'm going to release like a cap guide, because I'm not a money expert. I'm not even like a numbers guy, but I've been just researching this so much lately that I've become kind of a cap expert. I know a lot about it. I know how it works, and I know how the Bulls are able to make moves this offseason. And so like I keep saying, if someone tells you that the Bulls can't make moves this offseason, tell them that they're wrong, and maybe point them to this video, because I hope this was informative for you guys. Thank you again for watching. If you have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. We're doing fun shit all the time. Got a lot of great stuff coming up. The draft is tomorrow. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Arturis Fan Club. I'll probably go live on Twitter Spaces when the Bulls are on the clock, and we can react in real time, see what's going on. And tomorrow, look out for a draft guide for as many as many prospects as I can try to review in one video. We'll see how it goes. Thanks again, guys. We'll talk soon.